Hello guys, welcome to Visordown. My name is Alex, and next to me I've got the Honda ADV350, a brand new model on the market for 2022. I've been riding this around for a good few weeks now, so let's go into it. Let's see what it's about, why it's an off-road scooter, and just how much fun it is. So let's jump straight into it. I mean, what is the ADV350? It is an entirely brand new model, and it sort of follows in the footsteps of the X-ADV that Toads reviewed around this time last year, and the Forza 350 that you may know as a sort of town and city scooter. It's very popular in, say, London and bigger cities like that. The ADV sort of crosses the bridge there, and it becomes a sort of off-road, if you can call it that, scooter, but then it still keeps its just general scooter heritage. And by that I mean it's still got the underseat capacity, it's still easy to ride, it's automatic twist and go, but it gets the motorcycle tubular frame, upside down Showa forks and twin Showa rear shocks with the little reservoir. And it looks really nice. I mean, you've got to say that the grey that you can see here, it's also available in red and silver. But the grey looks really nice and sleek, and it's just got that bit of Honda quality that you'd expect. Now, off the bat, it's £5,599, and monthly it's around about £70–80 a month, depending on what you go for your finance deal. And for that, you get a 330cc engine and the ADV looks. It's got around 29 brake horsepower and 31.5 Newton meters of torque. And just to put it on the road and ride it around, it's good fun. It's got a lot of pull lower down. It can reach around 90 miles per hour if you really fancy it. And it's just good fun to bomb around on the local lanes. As I say, it's twist and go with belt drive. It's not the DCT motor, it's just a CVT, and it works really nicely. You put down the power straight away, twist and go, throttle, happy days. I have found a few like dusty lanes, and there's even a bit near where I live where there's like a sort of sandy trail that leads up somewhere. So it can do that, but you would not take this down a green lane and think that you're gonna spend a whole week exploring, say, the Peak District on off-road terrain. It just won't do it. The suspension is quite firm. I wouldn't say sharp, but it's firm. And although that is translating into a good road ride, I wouldn't be saying that you take this up and down Mount Everest. You've got a pillion that's not sat too much higher up than you, and my other half has been around on this with me, and she said it's comfortable. Got grab rails here to grab onto, and you're not sat way too high. That's just basically a bone that she has with some scooters where you're sat far higher than the actual rider and you feel like you're sort of towering over him. But she was quite happy on this one. Okay, now in terms of fuel and roundabout average consumption, now it's an 11.7 litre tank, and when I turn it on, it would tell me the average consumption that I've been doing. That's around 66 miles per gallon. Now, other reviewers have said they can get it to around 230 miles. This is going to do around 200 miles. The fuel is still economical, and you can still cruise around all day. For an 11.7 litre tank to do 200 miles, you're happy, really. Now, as I mentioned, there's a little bit of the X-ADV formula in this adventure scooter, and that's mostly in the form of 37mm Showa forks at the front and twin rear shock with the reservoir Showa bits at the back. They are quite firm, and you'll feel a lot of the bumps on the road, but they feel really nice. In terms of travel, you have 125mm of travel from the front rear sort of forks, and that's quite a considerable increase compared to the Forza 350, which I believe is like half of that. You've got 145mm ground clearance, and realistically, it does okay off-road, but it still feels like a scooter off-road. It's 186 kilograms wet, and that is sort of bordering on a little bit too heavy for the average rider to pick up and go down a green lane. Now, again, you're not going to be buying this as your green lane tool because there's so many more options out there, maybe even from Honda, the CRF, or you know, the KTMs and the Husqvarnas of the world. If you're a real enduro rider, this just isn't even going to be on your radar. What I think Honda have done here is dip into that X-ADV formula where it's a super popular bike, take some of the characteristics and a little bit of that uniqueness to make this one stand out in a market that's quite heavily saturated in lightweight to middleweight scooters. Now, this one in particular looks really nice and it rides really well. It does have a low center of gravity, so the majority of that 186 kilogram weight is low down, but it still handles really nicely. You've got 15 inches of Metzeler rubber at the front, 14 inches at the rear, and it just feels balanced. Okay, let's jump into the brakes and suspension. Now, I've already mentioned the Showa suspension front and rear is quite firm. The brakes are quite soft, but this is a brand new scooter that was literally delivered with like a mile on it. So the brakes haven't really had the chance to bed in. They're quite soft, but progressive. And if you really hammer on, especially on dirt, you can feel the ABS start to click in with the rear and front brakes. I've already mentioned the handling. It's nice, it's comfortable, and that's actually quite a good point for me. I'm about 6'4" when I'm wearing my motorcycle gear, and I weigh around 14, 15 stone. So when I've got my knees and legs up in here, there's plenty of clearance unless I'm at full tilt where I'll have to stick a leg out like Rossi, but it's a comfortable place to be. The seat is 795 millimeters off the ground, which is a little bit high for some. You might not be able to hoik your leg over the back, but it is a step through, so you can karate kick your way and sit in the saddle. It's a comfortable place to be, especially if you're just gonna be putting around town and just doing some nice little bits of shopping and stuff like that. Oh, hello, seat. Nice of you to join me. Right on cue as well. 48 litres of under-seat storage. Now, some reviewers say that you can't get a lid in the front bit of the compartment, but my Showa lid, which is a large with an intercom, fits absolutely fine. And I've got a little video to prove it. This back bit does fit a rucksack, which at the moment is a little bit empty, but it's also got enough space for another lid in there. So you can go 2 up happily. There is a USB-C charger in here, as well as the surprise secret compartment at the front. And that will fit your phone, your gloves, your keys, all of that good stuff. Moving on to keys, as I just mentioned though, is it's a keyless ignition system. Now the bike is on, but you turn it off with the little dial, and that also goes to the steering lock and the seat and fuel buttons. Pops open really nicely, it's nice and easy to use, and if the bike for whatever reason isn't doing anything, you can just press the dial in, looks for the key that's near you in the pocket at the moment, says it's found it, and you're done. What I will mention in terms of switchgear, it's really nice, but it just feels a little bit basic. It feels a little bit simple. Now, some people may be thinking, well, it's a switchgear, what are you expecting? But there's not really much like modes to look through, but there's still the buttons, toggles and switches and stuff like that. You've got a Bluetooth interface that you can use if you want to download that for your smartphone and then pair your intercom, and you can control music and stuff like that, allegedly. Some people might think that's an incredible accessory to have, but it comes as standard, which is always good. You've got a HSTC button here as well, and that's got 2 stages for on, and then you can just switch it off completely if you don't want any torque control. Happy days, really. Oh, one bit I didn't actually mention yet is the screen is adjustable. Put it in the lower position and maybe bomb it about off-road or in town. Looks nice and sleek. Lift out these 133mm up. It gives you a little bit more wind protection to scoop it over your lid. So how does this stack up against the rivals? I mean, it doesn't, because this is a unique bike. There's no other middle to lightweight scooters on the market that can do the adventuring, but this can. The X-Max 300, if you're considering that, is £5,850, so this is cheaper. The Suzuki Bergman 400 is around £6,799, so this again is cheaper. There is also the Kymco's and plenty of other budget to premium Chinese scooters on the market that are going to be cheaper, but this is a Honda. And you know what you're getting when you buy a Honda. It's going to be the reliability and the good build quality, which this has buckets of. Good point to mention is the accessories you can buy. You can get heated grips, which I absolutely love heated grips, so I'd go for that in a heartbeat. Got a little top box option if you fancy that as well. It's all there. Now the verdicts. Of course, the ADV350 is a really quality scooter from Honda. There's plenty of interest of this one on the market already, or so they say. And I think that for the price, you're getting a really stand-up scooter. I would happily run this around town and just have it as a little daily runner to go to and from the office or to and from the shops, and just have a little bomb around on the back roads in between, because that's where you have a lot of the fun. You've got nice wide bars, you've got knuckle guards, it's really good build quality, the center of gravity is nice and low, and ultimately it's just a lot of fun to ride around. Whether or not that's in the city or the back roads, it's just great fun. Whether or not you want to then take it down any green lanes is up to you, but you can do it. And it just gives it that little bit of extra character that you may be after. So would I buy it? Probably. If I had the money to buy a scooter, I genuinely probably would buy this. But that's been the ADV350. My name is Alex. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like down below if you enjoyed the video. Comment what you think about the ADV350 and if you'd go for it. And I will see you on the next one. Don't forget to subscribe as well. That would really mean a lot. Thanks for watching. Ciao.